Hi, everyone. Thanks, Laura, for having me again, because I recorded a podcast with you. Not out yet, but I'm excited to be back here with you. So, my name is Mireille Nicole. I'm a relationship coach, and I am passionate about helping women see and discover that they have so much more power in their relationship and in their dating life than they currently think. So, that's my 10-second elevator
That's right.
pitch
That's
as we
right.
discussed.
That's
So yeah, I'm really excited just based on that to talk about Taylor Swift and her relationship and kind of the
yes.
lessons that we can learn from her. So
Well, it's been an interesting topic of conversation, and it's been kind of swirling around, especially since yesterday in America. It was the Super Bowl. And so it's just been interesting to kind of have conversations and why I'm hearing, and we can't get into everything. My gosh, we have
yes.
5 things we're going to cover today, you guys. We're going to cover 5 lessons we can learn from Taylor Swift's relationship. Specifically with Travis Kelce, but we're going to talk about that. But there's so many things that we can't talk about because we just don't have hours and hours to get into it. But I wanted to talk a little bit about what can we learn really from the way that society is reacting to their relationship. And like we don't even want to get into like the hate, but number
Yeah.
one, number one I have is yesterday during the Super Bowl. There was on some information later on the social media platforms that people were saying that she was playing a drinking game because they had her up on the jumbo video. And every time they would show her, the 49er fans would boo her. And she was saying, I'm going to be myself. And every time you boo me, I'm just going to like let it roll off my back. So I thought the lesson there felt like be true to yourself. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I absolutely see that in her relationship. Definitely the whole aspect of being true to yourself. I see that just in her whole career, right? Her own persona also. And
Yeah.
yeah, there was kind of that specific situation, that specific example. And another one actually I was reading today on social media, someone was commenting about her hair being up in a ponytail and, growing up. And I was like, I wear my hair in a ponytail all the time. I'm in my mid 40s. Oh my gosh. Am I ever going to grow up? But,
Not to mention it's a cute style.
yeah, I thought it looked kind of classy there with what she was wearing and everything.
Yes.
But yeah, so that's really interesting because there's a lot of talk about how, the little girls, the young women are watching and her being a
Yes.
role model. And part of that, like she's going to be nitpicked no matter what, right? But the
Yes.
whole
Yeah.
fact that she, stays strong in her beliefs and who she is, and she's still a
Right.
human being at the end of the day, and she's not going to be perfect, but there's a powerful lesson there to be learned for sure.
Right. Yeah, there is. And I kind of liked it because, I mean, especially if you look at her, she's in her 30s. This is what you would expect her to look like. And so I don't know
Yeah.
what people think too. You're at a sporting event and she's wearing a ponytail. Like, this is weird for you. I just thought it was so interesting, but anybody could pick on anything. So, well, number two, I wanted to talk about their relationship and and their support for each other because a lot of things have been said about it, but also sort of the double standard we're having in society that they've shown pictures of her at his football games and calling her a distraction. And then they show him at her concert and they call him a supportive boyfriend.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. That to me, the double standard, I think, is very hard. And as women, I feel picked on by that
Yeah.
standard. What do you think?
Yeah, do you know what? Because I posted not that long ago on my Facebook feed, the whole thing that I'm here for their love story, and I think that's the part of the love story that really resonates with me, right? The
Yes.
support and the encouragement, and kind of these grand gestures to be together, especially when you're at that level in terms of popularity and just in the public eye. And
Yeah.
it's funny, right? Like this relationship reminds me at this point, it reminds me of Posh and Bex. So Posh
Yes.
Spice and David Beckham, right? Like that would happen all the time. Posh Spice would be, it's like the British version of this.
Right.
She would, he would take private jets to go see her in Japan, I think it was, right? At Spice Girl concerts. And,
Yeah.
he would go to the games and David Beckham was always kind of, you know, pressured into, is he still going to be able to perform well, in the sport and keep his focus? And it's like the same thing all over again. It's like another
Well,
example of this.
we think it's a new story, and it's not. It's just
Yeah.
another couple. And so I had gotten and I had also seen on social media about Joe Montana, who was on the 49ers years ago, and how he used to call his wife from the sidelines just because, and it was from his interview, he wanted to see if the phone called out. And his wife was like, "Why are you calling me?" And he's like, "I just wanted to see if the phone called out." So he used to call her. And so, and if you know Joe Montana, he was an amazing quarterback. I don't know, did anyone say, "Why are you calling your wife?" I guess as long as he was still throwing the ball correctly and
Yeah.
well, did anybody care?
And I like that what's that whole saying, behind every successful man, there's a strong woman, or there's some sort of
Yes,
like
yes,
comment like that, or some sort of
yes.
saying, right? Like, hey, let's make that true, and vice versa too.
Yes, it's so
Yeah.
true. And at the end, okay, so I was doing a Taylor Swift count for the seconds she was on screen.
Oh,
And
yeah.
until they won the Super Bowl, she was on screen about 25 seconds, I think. So I just kept, every time they show her, I'd start counting one, two. I did a tally mark. That's what I did because this is what I do with my life.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to see until they won. And then at the end, they were, kissing. And of course, they were showing her and all that.
Yeah.
So the announcer said, a lot of people talk about their relationship, whatever. And they were just saying, she has been so supportive of him. And that's what it looks like when you can have a supportive person behind you. Okay. I think people said supportive woman because that was the situation. But how he said it makes such a difference when you have someone like that, when you have someone supporting you. And so that saying of behind every successful man is a supportive woman or a strong woman. It's true, right? It feels like that.
Let's take the credit for that too. Let's own that.
Well, and we know too from toxic relationships when you don't have the support, how it affects your life, right? So if they're feeling supported, it's appearing supportive. Let's go with, hey, it's supportive and we know it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Right. So number 3, I wanted to talk about this amazing standard. This balance of friends and men. I really like the fact that she's always surrounded by friends. So it seems that she can balance having a boyfriend or having a long-term boyfriend with friends. What do you think about that in relationships?
I love that. I think that's so important. No matter what your relationship looks like, because I know we were talking about, and you have personal experience more from a toxic narcissistic relationship, but even from like a good healthy relationship, like the more you can still maintain that friendship with with the girls and still do things and still have those, like I love telling women, like, I know when I was struggling in my relationship, one of the things that really helped me to get out of it and turn my relationship around and bring us back to the honeymoon phase and back to our happily ever after was when I started taking all the pressure off my partner and starting to rebuild that bond with my girlfriends, right? Like we put a lot of pressure, I find nowadays, where our husband or a partner has to be everything. And we have to just talk about everything and just say anything and everything anytime, and that puts a lot of pressure, and men are a little bit different with that too. So if you can take some of that and just keep building that relationship or maintain that connection with your girlfriends, that's going to be very healthy. There's a whole different emotional response and biological response in you when you're sharing with the women in your life too, right? So that's just going to bring just more richness and fullness to your relationship at the same time. So I love it. What do you think?
I really like that idea because I know people talk about my husband's my best friend and all that, but sometimes I feel like if I'm talking about scrapbooking or something, my husband's eyes might glaze over, but you know what I mean? Why can't I go out? I just feel like, why can't I go out and have my girlfriends to talk about scrapbooking with, or whatever other thing we're talking about, or that, like if the football players looked handsome or something, who knows? I mean, I feel like we don't have to share every darn thing, not to
Yeah.
keep secrets, but they don't have to be responsible for every single thought we have in our head.